Good evening. Good evening. Hello, 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 hello.
Hello.
I have my family here. I am so excited. I got the Nashes in the house. I got Regina Coward in the house. I got my new and beautiful sister-in-law. I got my sisters in the house. But I gotta say a special to this young lady right here. I call her young. This is my aunt. This is like my mother. My mom died when I was young, so this is my aunt Hervesine. So, look, she didn't really want to be on here with us, but we thank her for sitting here with us and hanging out. So this is gonna be free flow. We just gonna have fun. We just get ready to talk.
Yes.
So whatever y'all want to talk about, listen. And if the subject get boring, hey, somebody else change the subject. Okay, we're gonna flow with it, okay? So right now, let's see what we can talk about.
Let's do introductions.
If that's a good
I thought she just did it.
We just did it.
You want to say we just did it?
Oh, we just did it.
We just being funny.
I know. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I can't do that one now. I forgot.
Okay.
Why?
Listen, well, we can let's talk a little about marriage since we just Sandy just on yesterday we celebrated a beautiful wedding for Sandy and my brother.
It was so beautiful.
Yes, so
and I had my nails done and didn't even know that these were going to be the colors.
what insight?
Lilac.
Yes.
Mine too.
And she was beautiful.
I knew though. And I must say you were the belle of the ball after the bride.
After
The
the
royal dress. Yes.
Okay, so Auntie been married. I'm not gonna put anybody on the spot. Vicky said something like, if you don't want to answer, say I plead the fifth. The fifth meaning the Fifth Amendment. What is this?
The fifth amendment silence.
That's right. She has the right. You have the right to remain silent. So we're gonna
Donald Trump in his crew.
So the first thing we'll talk about is if who's on the table would want to give some really good advice for Sandy, even though she's been with my brother. Just since we're talking about marriage, give some good advice for the newlywed.
Well, one thing I wanted to say, because I thought about this, is everybody has a different opinion of what marriage is. And marriage is what? What is marriage? I think marriage is a mystery. It's hard. There's suffering. It's sometimes joyful misery. It's growth. You grow. What do y'all think? What is marriage?
So for me, I do agree there is some growing pains in marriage. It is not easy, Sandy. It's not. But I made a lot of mistakes in my marriage. And one mistake that I made is that you need more patience. I needed patience. Had I had my sister cousins in the group like this who would say, okay, Regina, you got this, you just talk me through some things and gave me a little more patience. I prayed a little bit harder. I think my marriage could make it because I did have an incredible man and we had some good times, we had some bad times. But the good outweighed the bad, but I let my pride as a wife and the strong female, it got the best of me. So just always remember that all things possible with God. So don't ever go to bed angry because tomorrow's not promised. So I don't care how tough it is. Before you wake up, before you go to bed, you work it out. That's a must.
Disclaimer: Sandy's been with my brother for some years. She has already worked this thing out, but we're going to talk as if this is her first time being married. But Sandy has stuck by my brother.
She has been long suffering.
Yes, and so when we talk, we're just going to talk as if there's other newlyweds out there. We're talking for you, but my sister-in-law has it down, guys. And so seriously, she has shown us all what a woman.
Really.
Yeah.
And it was such a joyful occasion. Like when they got married, we were all like,
yes.
Yeah. Like, because we all know what you've been through, what's happened.
And in the
things are so great between you now.
And in the beginning, after I told her, Sandy, now Marvin is my nephew, my love nephew.
Yep.
And I had been through a lot with Marvin too. But I told Sandy in the beginning, Sandy, let him go. And I told her that as woman to woman, not as nephew to aunt. Because I believe as a woman, women ought to tell other women the truth.
Mhm.
And that's one way to help relationships and help women to deal with their relationships, whether it's a relationship or whether it's a marriage. If you tell the truth rather than say, oh yeah, oh that's good. Oh yeah, you ought to do that. Oh yeah. You said, honey, you need to tell him something.
Mhm.
Are you the same lady that didn't want to do this video?
Well, that's the diversity of this whole thing, is that we're lucky, we're blessed that we have a newlywed. We have married for
62 years.
Oh, wait a minute, give me some. Before I was even born, you was already married. 62 years, single by choice. Married.
You're not single by choice.
I am
now.
Yeah, she's single by choice now. Married.
20 years.
28 years. 20 years.
12 years.
So 12 years, and then I'm single, but I'm on a mission. and what I'm saying is that at this table, there's no problem that somebody at this table have not been through already.
Yeah.
So that's why these kind of conversations are so important, because I know anything I talk about, I know for sure you've been through. And your thinking is so progressive. So thank God for people who share. And this video is intended to share to somebody out there who may be thinking like, wow, I need to hear that.
Mhm.
So that's a lot we have to say.
Yeah, and go ahead.
No, I just want to say I've been married for 20 years this time. Second marriage, first time 10 years, this time 20 years. And one of the things that I learned is I was every day about to leave. This is it. I'm leaving. I'm gone. I'm not taking any more. Go to sleep, wake up, new day, look up, it's 20 years. But the one thing that I learned about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, was that I stopped asking and looking at what he wasn't doing. Because I was always talking about what he wasn't doing. And then one day I said, what aren't you doing?
Yes.
And I realized that there was a lot I wasn't, there's a whole lot I don't do, and I'm not doing. But he continues to be consistent and continues to do what he does. And now I've looked and appreciate so much about what he does. I don't even think about what he doesn't do, because he does so much. And so I just shifted my thinking, and it changed our entire relationship.
And that's the key, because everybody is always thinking about what he's not doing, what he isn't doing, and how they aren't satisfied, instead of looking at, the Bible says, look, think on those things that are noble and pure and of good report. And so look on those things, because what your husband was doing for you, I would probably be happy if my husband was doing all that stuff for me, right?
Mhm.
So to me, that ain't no reason to get a divorce, because you got a divorce.
Ooh, that's a whole nother subject.
To me, that's a cause for prayer and fasting.
Yes.
And God can move those things.
I do agree. I was such a strong woman, if you will, and there was a lot of things that I probably could have done differently. I know I could have done different, but I have my own way.
Let's
Hey,
introduce this is my brother that just knocked on the door.
Look,
This is Marvin. This is the groom. Big out. This is the groom. He's married to Sandy. But he said he gotta go work. Marvin, a group of women talking, and if there was some single women out there that's looking for a husband or waiting on their husband, as a man, what would you? I don't mean to put you on the spot. But what would you say? Because you and Sandy, y'all been through a lot, but y'all did this thing. And so what would you say for a woman? What was different in Sandy that you saw that kept you loving her, giving her the
22
utmost
years,
respect for 22 years? What was in her that made it different from all the other women?
She was
Talk a little loud.
She was always a lady.
Aw.
She always stayed a lady.
Aw.
She stayed a lady.
She
Do you hear that,
stayed a
ladies?
lady. She didn't change a few years after I met her.
Mm,
She's always been a lady.
mm,
And she's I look at her mom and I see how her mom carries herself and how respected she is, and that's how Sandra is. That's how Sandra is.
mm,
That's where she gets it from.
mm,
I just tell women, just always be a lady.
mm.
No matter what happens, be a lady. A man wants a lady.
What is a lady?
A lady is a woman that's always meek and
Not you.
always, no,
Quiet. spirit.
Quiet spirit, soft spirit, not loud and
Proverbs
obnoxious and,
31.
just always a lady, polite and sexy and
You got that one.
sweet voice and,
He just said something for especially Black women. He just said sweet voice.
Mm.
We're known to be loud and obnoxious, and Sandy has a very
Yourself.
quiet spirit. Sandy's
Sweet
very
spirit.
strong.
She is.
Yeah, but he just saying something, y'all. So y'all
But
listen
she's
to-
also, you know what? She's also from Zimbabwe.
yeah.
And it's a different culture from
Right.
Black American
Right.
women.
Right.
So that may make a difference
And
because
it's-
we're raised differently.
And the same thing with a man, Marvin, even though he's my nephew,
This is not live, Mom.
he has that calm spirit, that calm attitude, that quiet presence that women like and want.
Well, I grew up around women, and I think that's been a blessing to have sisters and cousins, female women, because it taught me how to treat women. My dad would not let me disrespect my sisters.
Right.
My dad would not let me hit my sisters.
Right.
My dad would not let me fight my sisters, and I knew I couldn't fight my sisters.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff I learned around being women. To put the toilet seat down every time, just little stuff like that. It's
But
just-
if the man doesn't put the toilet seat down, there's no reason to divorce him. We've been married for 62 years and he still doesn't put the toilet seat down.
Marvin has to
So
go to work.
when I go
Marvin
in
has
there,
to go to work.
I just put it down. And now there's such a thing as a bidet that's automatic and it'll go down the clip.
And she has one.
Good point.
And I have
love
one, yeah.
I love it.
I gotta go to work. I got a VIP.
We will do a video with Marvin because he's gonna give his testimony on one of our videos. Y'all need to hear his testimony. Bye,
Bye.
Marvin, watch out.
Watch your cord.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're
We're
gonna.
come over here and kiss his wife.
Oh, he got to kiss his wife.
I gotta get some shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna. While he's getting his wife some sugar, y'all watch that. Look at that, newlywed.
Did anybody take a picture?
That is some true love there. We've seen them, y'all, for some years.
But I want to make a comment
too.
I want to make a comment about true love. I wanted to talk about, so Aunt Hurt is here, and her husband came up to me yesterday. Uncle Joe came up to me at the funeral. He said, at the wedding, I'm sorry, no funeral, at the wedding. And he says, ain't my wife beautiful? They've been married 62 years. What a blessing to have your husband come up and tell somebody else to acknowledge that his wife is beautiful.
But
We
you know
don't
what?
have it every day.
They kiss more than me and my husband kiss. Wow.
I see
12
you
years.
kissing.
They kiss when anytime they come into the room, they meet, they hug, they hold hands.
Oh, yeah.
They do all that. 62 years. But now wait, their marriage has not been a fairy tale because I watched it.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But they have
Good.
worked through things. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons, I have a lot of different things with my marriage, but that's one of the reasons why I've tried to work through things. Because I saw them work through things and I saw them be able to do it and where they are now. Sometimes it's stupid to do that, but sometimes, it is what it is.
Well, it inspired me for sure to watch him and to watch him say, I'm going to bed. He came back for a kiss and he came back for an extra kiss and a hug. I saw that. But
You know what's good about that? To watch Uncle Joe and Aunt Hurt, and we need to see more of that with the elderly, because young people don't believe in marriage now.
Because
And
nobody's
so-
married.
Yeah, right. And people are just divorcing and walking away, like you just talked about the runaway husbands,
Yeah.
the runaway wives.
Mhm.
It's just crazy out there. But people like my aunt and like Donna been married that long, 20 some years. Sharon, Tam is 16, 15 years, Vic is 17, you 10,
12.
12. That helps out. That like people like Regina gives her hope. not me, but it gives Regina hope. I don't want to be married. I'm good.
I
But that's a
do.
whole different. That's a whole, but we're gonna change the topic.
Wait.
Okay.
I just want to say one more thing. The other thing is, my father is struggling with dementia right now, but my mother is taking care of him. This is even a testimony. These are our vows.
Yeah.
For better, for worse,
That's
for richer, for poor, in sickness and health. How many people actually do that?
Right.
I mean, people, as soon as something gets wrong with somebody, they want to dump them, right?
Right.
So they're really doing that. And even with Deanie, our other aunt, and her husband, he was sick for a long time, and she did the same thing. And
Right.
that is a testimony to see people really live out their vows.
You're right, Sharon. You're right.
That's a good point.
That is a strong point. And guys, we have to stay connected to God so He can guide us in keeping our husbands or keeping our wives. We have to stay in the Bible. That's our instruction. And then more marriages will survive. So now we're going to go into, just feel free, whoever want to talk. I'm going to get this side of the table.
One more thing
Okay.
about marriage. I believe one of the mistakes that women make, especially women, is that you put your husband before yourself. You put God first, you next, and husband next. You don't take care of your husband and let yourself just go to pot. You can't be happy. I mean, you can't make your husband happy if you're not happy. And then you say, well, what is happiness? So you have to see about yourself.
Yeah, well, love your neighbor as
Because
yourself.
when I first got married, that's what I did because I didn't know. I didn't know the dynamics.
Yeah.
So I was just giving my all to him.
To your husband.
And I realized I was neglecting God.
Yeah.
Didn't realize it,
Mm-hmm.
but I was.
Mm-hmm.
And it caused so many problems for me.
You
became your God. And God really, got on me about that because it was me and God before it was me and my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And it took some time for me to get back there because I had given him all of that time and attention and, so.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Make sure, as I just said, it's God, your husband, then you. What Heard it
No,
said.
God, you and your husband.
That's a whole different topic. Where there was Adam and then there was Eve. God made it the man first, and then the woman came. God, Adam, and Eve.
And that's what she said. God first.
No, but she said you're in yourself first and then your husband.
Okay.
But what she's saying,
I get what you're saying. I
She's
get what you're
talking
saying.
about taking care of.
Yes. I get what you were saying.
You can't
But for
take
people
care
that
of
don't
your-
understand what you're
Take
saying,
care of your husband.
Yes.
You can't take care of your husband if you
If you
don't
don't
have
take care of
nothing in
yourself.
yourself. Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, I got what you were saying. But for the people that didn't understand that,
Okay.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
thank you.
And then let me, I don't know who you'll parlay to, but also that translates to me because people consider me selfish because I take care of myself first because I know that I have a lot of energy I have to pour out to my children, my husband, whatever it is that I do, the little bit I do, I have to do something. But anyway, so I have to be full. So in order to do that, I have to do things to take care of myself. That's not selfish to take care of yourself. And you teach other people how to treat you. My husband knows, he'll go, aren't you going to the gym? Because he knows this is my Donald's gym day. It is time for you to eat. My children say, Mom, everybody knows who I am. They know what I do for myself, and they know that those things are important to me. So then other people will help you take care of yourself. If you show them that you take care of yourself. If you show me you don't take care of yourself, I'm gonna help you not take care of yourself. Because now I don't care.
Right,
So you
right,
have to
right.
let me show people that I matter to me, and then you'll matter to them more.
Because my husband was draining me
Mm-hmm.
because I was giving him so much attention.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm trying to find who I am,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and it's hard.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want him to be an idol to you, and you don't want to be an idol to him, where he's sitting on the pedestal or you're sitting on the pedestal of his life, right?
Right, because
Only
basically
God is on the pedestal.
what they're saying, as a single individual, you have to take care of your singleness because you're no good if you don't know who you are.
Mhm.
So that what my aunt was clearly just said is, you make sure you take care of your need, feed your need, because he's an individual just as you are, and so you both operate individually, but God gonna put you guys together for one unity to love each other by the word of God. What we're gonna do next is go. So all of us are very strong women. I know all of you guys. We're very strong in our nature and everything. So you want to ask yourself, what is my makeup? What made me this way? So I was thinking of a question I can ask you guys. What is it in your childhood that people said to you that hurt you,
Mm.
and it hurt you and it kept you from being who you are now? Because, you know, after we have to go through so much and then figure out, because so many people have put so much negativity in your head, what is it that hurt you at childhood and now you're better because of it? Anybody can speak.
I'll speak first because I always keep that in my mind. But when I was younger, I was very sensitive to everything. I was sensitive to places, people, and things. When I would go to somebody's house, I was sensitive to the air, to the smell, to the bed, to the lights, to everything. And nobody seemed to care about that. And everybody would always tell me, why are you so sensitive? Because I was just sensitive. I still am. I'm sensitive to things. I see and feel things. And it was looked at as something wrong with it. And so when I was growing up, I feel like I kind of tried to be less sensitive to things because it seemed to bother everybody else that I was so sensitive. And now, even now, people will say, why do you notice that? Why does that matter to you? Why do you care about that? Because I do, because it does, because I feel it. If I feel it, I feel it. You can't tell me not to feel it. I'm gonna feel it, because I just feel it. So I think that was something that I carried for a long time, but now I don't care because I am sensitive to everything. And that's a good thing.
That's
It's a
right.
positive thing.
That's right.
And it helps me in my life. It's helped me become better.
That's right.
At 60 years old, it's helped me to become better, to realize I am sensitive, and that is a gift.
Yes,
It's not
that's
a
right.
flaw.
Right. And that's who has made Donna a strong, powerful Black woman. All of us are Black, but she's a strong woman in her who-ness. In her who-ness, y'all. Because we know her story. So I understand, because I see the outcome. So we're gonna try to get on this side of the table because y'all been very quiet. I don't call people out. But what in your childhood did somebody call you bad names, or did somebody say something that affected you? And you can help somebody else, because you know, especially young kids, they bully each
Oh,
other.
that affected you?
Yeah.
Good or bad?
Oh yeah.
My dad always told me I was smart. And I think I got the big head and I always am smart. And I am, for real.
You are smart.
Is
You
that
are smart.
it? I can't think of it.
Oh.
People didn't bother me because I didn't
Vicky, you know what you are? You're a problem solver. Yes, you are. You really are. Because you can always think things through. Oh, cousin, why don't we do this? Oh, I'm like, oh, why don't you try that? So you know, you are good. You are good at troubleshooting and figuring things out. I get it. You got that down pat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's share that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
What do you see in me?
How? Okay, so we can change. We can change it to.
Yeah.
Well, anybody else want to answer that question before we go to the next one? Anything that? Let me answer that question. When I was young, I was heavy set, and you see them laughing already. They're laughing already.
See, the cousins don't know about
So
that.
when I was young, I was heavier than the rest of my siblings. And at the age of 13, I got sick with Crohn's disease, which is a chronic illness in the messenger intestine, and you start losing all this weight, and you're just so sick. And I dropped a lot of weight. And after that, I just stayed thinner. But people would look at me, because all of them was slim, and they would call me Fat Hog, and I was tall. They would call me Tree. They would call me Too Tall Jones. They would call me all these names. And then my teeth was kind of big. They said Bucky Beaver. And then there's a store called Hogan's that my dad loved to go to. The store was called Hogan's. Now, my friends and my family call me Ann. The words for Hogan is Hogan. We were sitting in the car waiting on my daddy one day, and Penny looked at the sign and said, Hogan. She said, H-O-G-A-N. And they all laughed. And every time we go to this store, they would say, Hogan. And so growing up, I probably did. I used to wear big clothes to cover me up because I was so big, voluptuous, and I was tall, and like my uncle called me Bigum. so
And it's
people,
still going
yeah,
on.
it's still going. But let me tell you this. Let me just tell you how God has turned that thing around. I'm 5'10" and I'm a stallion.
Yes.
That's what they say about me now. When I go home to my class reunion, listen, them little cheerleaders, and nothing against y'all, but you know they were petite and they were like 4 or 5. I'm 5'11", my weight just flows. They couldn't put the weight in the right place,
Yeah.
so it looks different now. So when I go home, I'm the it. I'm not bucket, I'm not too tall because everybody want to be tall now. So listen, wait on it. If somebody talking about you, just wait on it.
Yeah.
Listen,
What I
things gonna-
wanted to say was, I was really thinking hard growing up, the things. And I was called, was it Black Bullfrog?
Yes.
And
Your
I
grandmother
don't
called
think
you.
it bothered me.
Lucille?
No, not my grandmother.
Don't talk about it.
No, let's talk about
Don't
keep going.
Oh, but I guess because I was smart, I had,
Ooh, that's me.
I think I had great self-esteem as well.
Oh.
And I remember when I was young and all of my siblings, they all had long hair. Y'all remember?
Mm-hmm.
They all had long hair, right,
Mhm.
Ernestine? All of them.
Braided.
And my cousins would come over and they would say, Bert, where's the kids? And all the kids come out, Vicky, all of them long hair. I come out here up here. They would say, where did she come from?
Oh, that wasn't us, was it?
No.
Oh.
They said, looks like the rat's been sucking her hair. A grown person said
I'm gonna tell my aunt who said that.
grown
Something
person.
was kind of.
A grown, but still, I'm young. I don't know. A grown person said that to me.
You know,
That's me.
people don't understand when they say this stuff.
Words hurt.
Words hurt. No, they talk about the words don't hurt. Words do hurt. Think about how many years ago that happened. You still remember that like it happened yesterday.
I can hear it.
Oh yeah.
But tell them, look at you
Oh,
now.
yeah. Oh, they
She
see
cut
me.
her hair like,
You see me.
I see you.
No rat sucking in this is
So for me, growing up, we grew up very, very, very poor, and we were on welfare, food stamps, Section 8, commodities, whatever you can get. And I remember going to school, and the kids said, you live in the Gerson, I live in the projects, and the kids like, y'all poor. But I really didn't know I was really so poor until I got to school. Until I saw what my white classmates had things that was different. But as long as I was in black school, going with all my friends, I didn't know I was poor because it was all poor together.
Mhm.
But when they started integrating us and sending us to the other side of town on the bus, my friends came to school every day with Twinkies, ding dongs, and all this stuff. And we didn't have it. We had free lunch. I just assumed, I'm getting free lunch. Good for me, And they said, you get free lunch because you're poor. So, there's always like that little snooty person who always wants to remind you, if they will. But I look at it now when I go back to my high school reunion of all the people that was
Look
so
at Regina
mean.
now.
All the people that was so mean to me. I
She's
give
a
them
bougie
grace.
baller.
I'm just saying. No, not bougie. So this is we had this conversation. We talked about this. How would you describe yourself? These are the things, the acronyms. You can be bougie, you can be confident, or you can be arrogant. Those are 3 things. And if somebody really looked at you or wanted to say, how would they identify? I would definitely not identify myself as arrogant.
And what do we call you?
Good bougie.
Good bougie.
Good bougie.
There's a good bougie and a bad. Did you guys know?
Yes.
Oh, is there?
I just found out.
Yes. Because we come from.
So what's
When
good
we grew
bougie?
up,
What's
they said
bad
that.
bougie?
Well, there's a bad bougie where people that think they were
Better than others.
the decor, what you call it, all the name brand stuff. And when they wear all that designer stuff, and you look down on people that have, some other brand, no brand, and you look down at people and
I was just gonna say, while you're talking about it, just when we were growing up as kids, and when you guys would come to our house.
I was thinking about that.
Yes, and I used to think y'all were so bougie.
But
Really?
Let her explain. Let her explain.
Yes.
I know what you mean. Yeah, because y'all would come, you know, looking nice. I mean, not that we didn't have nice things, but the way you guys, because y'all lived in Washington,
Yeah,
we
it's
lived
a
in
certain-
Monroe, Louisiana. And so y'all would come and just
We
just
breeze
sit in, yes, and just real hair done or did or whatever you want to call it. And you guys were just, to me, bougie. And then you two would run in the room, you know, and then talk to like me and Ann. Y'all would run in the room
And
and
talk to Vicky and
Yeah,
Patricia.
and me and Donna are the same age, but they were close to door, and I couldn't talk to Donna because she could talk to Vicky. We're the same age.
exactly.
We go get this out of the table
Oh, yes,
today.
and not good bougie.
uh-oh.
I thought you guys were the other bad bougie.
But we were.
And all,
Yeah, it ain't good.
yeah. I'm not bougie.
But we
That's real.
We
That's
never
real.
heard.
I know, but I'm saying,
we listen. I don't know about the children, but me and my husband love my sister and brother-in-law,
Yeah.
and we love our nieces and
that's what
nephews.
she's saying though.
But what she
And
saying?
there was nothing that we thought.
You got to That's why we gave you 3 categories. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me explain. Let me let you know what Tammy's saying. When you're young, you don't understand what you see.
Right.
Okay,
Everything that
okay.
you see is not really what it is.
Okay.
And so, though we saw our cousin, because we're very close to them, they are like sisters. She's like mother, and so yeah, we're sister cousin, and it's like our mother. So, as a young person, when they come to our house, I remember, and I get it what she's saying because we felt that way. I remember they would. That's when people wasn't in the country. You drinking bottled water. They would come. They bought, oh, that water nasty. Y'all drinking that nasty out the faucet. You know, but that was their environment. And when they brought their environment into our country environment, it didn't fit. And so what we saw, we thought it was bougie. But these are the best people. They have been here for us. My cousin, my aunt, cousin Regina, they have been with us all our lives, y'all. Like you say, y'all came in our home and we cooked and we loved on each other, even though we didn't understand it because we was too young. Now we understand that it was just your environment. And so like Tammy called Regina good bougie, it was actually good bougie because I know anything my mom needed. Anything but hold on. I'm gonna let y'all talk. I know, but hold on. Huh? But then we didn't understand it. But it's good bougie now because we know that anything my mom need or my dad, you and her and Uncle Joe was there for them.
That's right.
We know that for a fact.
That's right.
And y'all made sure y'all brought them to be with us. And we spent a lot. But when you're young, you don't see that. We see it now.
I can understand what you're saying. Okay. That when you're a teenager or a younger person, that you don't understand certain things.
That's
but you know, I never even thought about that kind of thing because all I could see was that these are my relatives. This is my sister and my brother-in-law and my nieces and nephews.
My statement is gonna settle that.
Because you're smart.
I
Problem solved.
I am not bougie, but I've been called that. But I think what people see as being bougie is confidence.
Yes.
When we were raised, my mom, we couldn't slump over, sit up, close your legs. You know, my mom corrected us on a lot of things. So people think when they see us, it's happened, all of us. Move to a new place, go to a new place. People look at you, and she stuck up.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you're that, but if you walk straight, you know, it could be seen as prideful, you know, but it's really not. A lot of times it's confident.
But I thought the same.
good bougie.
It actually is because people use bougie in a bad way,
Yeah.
and just because Vicky like Louis Vuitton, I don't like Louis Vuitton, but Vicky loves it. And Vicky was teaching a class one day, and somebody, okay, I'm not supposed to say that, I'm sorry. But you know, people don't like that you might have a certain thing and they don't have it or they don't understand it and they'll call it bougie. It's not. Vicky just like Louis Vuitton. I don't. And so it's okay for us to not like if her drives a
Yeah.
I'll explain it. It's okay. Okay. If my thing is, and you know who you are, if I could afford to buy, not that I buy everything designer, but I think people should do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And things that are okay with me and my husband. And so if, not that I buy all, and I'm not saying that because I'm real smart, I'm not going to say that. But if somebody wants to buy, because if I buy a purse on sale, Michael Kors, that purse is going to last me 60 years. It's going to outlive me.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people that see that, somebody kind of said, something about a designer purse. And my thing is, well, why would she say that about me? And not to be mean or ugly, people could say something about people buying nice things, but I could just turn around and say, well, you have a Walmart purse. Oh, but I'm just saying, if you want to buy $20 and somebody want to buy $100, it's okay. It's their money.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. And but people, like that statement she just said, people would take that as her being arrogant or like she thinks she got it going on. But think about it, y'all. Like I just said, I don't like Louis Vuitton, and they know I don't like Louis Vuitton. It's okay to do what you want to do. It's your world. You do what you want to do. And so if she wants to do that, but what happened, the reason she had to say that, because it keep happening to her. And so when people try to discredit her because of if she
That's
likes,
because people are jealous.
yeah, and that's true. That's
If
true.
people are jealous of looks, of what you have. People are jealous of all that.
Relationship.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
You know,
you married, you
because
not married.
most people don't like me. I know that.
Oh,
That's
No,
not true.
I don't believe that.
No,
That's not true.
It's true.
Unprivacy.
It's true. The people at church,
I understand
Most
what
people don't like me.
Oh, there's a lot of people
And
that like you.
and
Yeah.
but a lot of people who don't.
Well, you know, that
because
comes with
because I think it relates to my
confidence.
Confidence.
confidence. That's right.
Totally.
My feeling of what you think of me is none of my business. That I'm gonna do what I want to do. Like Frank Sinatra says, I'm gonna do it my way.
Boom, there you go.
Because you're also unfiltered.
Yes.
Some people
Yes.
don't have a problem with people that are unfiltered sometimes because they don't like confrontation or it makes them feel uncomfortable.
Well, I know that I'm different from most people. I know that I probably say what a lot of people won't say, but a lot of people ought to say what I say.
I agree 100%. Listen, when my aunt leave this earth, she's gonna go empty because she's the best person in our family. Look, done everything for us. But she's gonna tell us right from wrong. She's gonna give it to us negatively or positively. She's gonna do the right thing.
That's
And when
right.
she leave this earth, God is gonna say, "Job well done,"
That's right.
especially with the Jordan family.
That's right.
I believe everything she said. I am so much like you. When you said people don't understand you, I am so much like you. God was just talking to me just a few hours ago. He said, "And you different." And so when you go strong, you like the tiger, and they're not ready for you. But you go, he told me that, but don't stop. But you strong because y'all, I don't know the day he gonna call me home. And so I'm like, hurt. If that's what you want to say, hurt, go for it. I know we have to be tactful and it's the way you present it. But listen, we're living in a short time. And listen, like I just explained today, people want to get mad because you're so strong in what you're saying to them. But this is what I just said, and God just brought this back to me. If the building is burning and it's on fire, and it's fire in the room, and everybody in here, I'm not going to go and whisper, "There's a fire. There is a fire." I'm going to say, "Fire!" And I'm going to be beating. I'm going to be doing up this fire. Well, the same thing with heaven and hell. I don't want none of y'all to go to hell. So I'm going to always be telling y'all about heaven and about Jesus. I'm going to do that, y'all, until he call me home. And if people get offended, because I'm like unheard of sing. I'm going to say it and people not going to like it, but I'm going to keep doing what God has called me to do. So if you're that person and that's what God has put in you, you keep telling the world about what God has put in you to say. This is my aunt. She does it all the time. Now I understand. She's probably right. People in her church don't understand her. And so
I didn't understand her as a kid.
Really?
I didn't.
What didn't you understand?
Because I know she dealt with Vicky and Marvin and maybe Penny, but anyway, me and her never really had conversations. But then later on in life, she came to me differently, because she's like this. She'll go in, but I guess she knew I'm different, so she knew she couldn't just go in immediately. So she came different. I don't know if you remember how you said, I don't know too much about you.
you
You
said
said that to me. You said, I don't know too much about you. I know you started naming everything, but I don't know too much about
And
you.
so then I started to do
Get
what?
to know
You
you.
started talking to me.
Because
on
that's who
my
she is.
level.
And
You
now
didn't
we
come
talk
on
That's
my
who she
more.
level.
Now we talk more than
That's
that.
right.
But you see, there's a time.
And a
There's
season.
a time
That's right.
for
That's
everything.
my point.
Yeah.
That was the
And
Tim
then-
always said, talk to her to see.
And it may not be your time.
That's
It
right.
may not be my
And I
time.
understood.
But when it's your time, then
It's your time.
it's your time.
Because I was somewhat jealous or hurt.
Mm.
That's all they used to talk about. Marvin, all of them. And then you approach me and I'm like, okay.
I'm the favorite.
I'm the favorite.
Because you're
Don't-
smart.
But don't tell them.
I think that's special when they, you speak it.
Saying this way.
Don't say it.
Because you were younger and she
That's what I was
talked to your
thinking.
older
That's what I was
sister.
thinking.
Well,
She was quiet.
But
She was quiet. And see, I'm talkative. And people who are quiet, it takes me a while to get there with them, because I'm all like over here and up there.
you think you gotta pull it out?
And so then you don't think as much about trying to talk to the one who's quiet, because they're doing okay over there. And finally you realize, oh, there's another one I need to,
She's interesting.
yeah.
I have a question for Sandy. So when Marvin said ladylike, so do you find that American women, what do you think is the difference between American women and Zimbabwe women or African women? What would you say, like, it's different? Don't worry about offending us.
Yes.
And we said we weren't gonna put anybody on the spot, so shit, if you don't wanna do it, do like this here.
Well, I think more Africans are just kind of laid back, more quiet, soft spoken.
Mhm.
I guess what he's referring to is that I don't curse, I don't, speak loud or get angry. I mean, I do get angry, but I'll get angry my own ways.
Mhm.
It's not like I'm, throwing things or
Mm-hmm.
yelling. Yeah. So I think that's what he was referring to.
And
That's
us,
interesting.
and us looking in, you have a meekness about you and you have a strongness. And Marvin needs that because all 5 of his sisters was very strong. His mom too. She was meek. His mom was meek. And I think he saw that in you that we are. They all strong. All of this whole our clan.
Well,
is
she
very-
can tell.
Yeah. And we've seen that because of how long and we've seen how strong you are. And so
Yeah, Jesus
ladies.
was meek. He was strong.
Yeah, he was strong. So ladies, what my brother, this is his wife, and what he said to us, they don't like all that loud talking, that cursing, that all the stuff that women do. especially black men hate that. That's why sometimes they go to the other race, because they say we're so bold in our boldness, or we're so independent. And I know my sister-in-law, as we want to call her, is very meek and strong. And you can still, you see she got a good man because of who she is. And so hopefully you guys heard him speak. And if you're waiting on your husband, then maybe, like my cousin Donna has a very calm spirit, very calm spirit. She has always been very calm. Even when they come over and she don't want to talk to us, she'll go in the room with my other sisters. Her spirit,
They made me do it. I wanted to be with y'all, and they told me I couldn't.
but she's always had that, and she's been married 20 years, y'all, with her husband. And she was just telling me just the other day, it's getting better, stronger each day. And y'all gotta wait on it. We leave too quick. Wait on it.
Well, here's the other thing though. In Sandy's country, they were never slaves, and our people were. And so we had to deal with many things. The men were taken away. We were, so many different things that have caused the PTSD that people have and that women had. And we've had to, because a lot of men were not there. So we had to do certain things.
That's good, Sharon.
And they didn't have that. So that's part of it. So I guess we need some healing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, what happens in marriages, and we're back to marriage now, is that women let the men take advantage of them, beat them down, let them not have a voice, and until the women get tired of it.
Yeah. So they set boundaries for themselves.
And the Black American men, depending on, I think, where they came from, how they grew up, and their family dynamics, because I believe that, and I guess this can't necessarily be true, but I still believe it, that if I guess the saying about being equally yoked, if you and your husband come, or you and your person you have a relationship from, if y'all came from a similar kind of background, then that helps your marriage and relationship if it's a similar background. But if you, you're from way over here and they're from way over this way, as far as your background and your
You're talking about socioeconomic and intellectual
all of
background?
all of the above.
Well, I mean, they're from two different countries. So
Well, because of who Marvin is, Marvin is more like Sandy. His background, his family is they're more alike, even though
You're right.
he's not from Zimbabwe, but he's more like her.
Well, she's like his mother.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
So if he was loud and boisterous, then he wouldn't be with her.
Right.
And actually,
That's
he was talking earlier today
I
that
heard y'all.
when my sister first met him, well, he would always call and she would answer the phone. We didn't have cell phones, I guess, back then. So it was just a landline. So she would answer the phone and he'd be like, "Can I speak to Sandra?" So she actually thought he was a white guy. He sounded, because he was so proper on the phone. She had been dating a guy that was more
Loud and boisterous.
Hip hop, right? Like,
ghetto, a little
And that's what
ghetto.
y'all see in American people. Y'all see a lot of that.
So she thought he was white.
Because Marvin, wherever he goes, he
People love
gets
him.
favor.
Yes, they do.
Favor because of
Favor.
his
And he said it. He had 5 sisters. Imagine living in a house with 5 sisters and a mother. That's 6 women that him and my dad had to deal with. And you know us with our hormones and our stuff growing and everything. Yeah, we were close knitted.
But he didn't pick up what y'all have. He's like totally different.
He picked up the understanding of a woman. He picked up how to understand a woman. But you're right, Bert. You're right. He still kept his strong manhood, his
That's what you
his
said.
who-ness.
Well,
Yeah,
Uncle Warren, how could you?
that's right. Because
Exactly.
that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good way to say that. Yeah.
No, I go, "Get the drink, hey, come get
That's how my dad used to call us, so they joking about that. But that's a good point Hurt said. Even though he was surrounded by women, he still, so when people want to say that a child turned a gay or whatever, because my brother did not, he had a lot of women around him. So that's a good point. He still kept who he was. And my dad was good at that, keeping us to be who we are. And we had one video we told you guys about my sister Penny, who was born with pneumonia, and the doctor said she would be one way, and my dad said no. My mom said no, and they took her out of the school that the doctors and people thought she should be in, and put her in the school with us. And my sister, again, on that, like we said on that video, cooks better than me, cooks better than Tammy, cooks better than Vicky. Raised her son up to 21 until he was not accidentally shot, police brutality. And so everything the doctor said about my sister was not true. So you guys don't believe what people put in your head, because that's not the truth. The truth is inside of you, and you just got to keep fighting for it to come out. Is there anything else y'all want to talk about before we close this video? Because we've been on here 40-some minutes, and for some girls that didn't want to talk, and a young lady, my aunt, they didn't want to talk. But I'm so excited. Listen, I hope you got something from this video, guys. I hope if you're one who you're looking for your husband, the Bible says the man will find you, so you get in position so he can find you. If you are married and you are trying to see how to keep this thing working, they just gave you some good advice on how to do that. I'm gonna let somebody give some good advice before we get off of here. Whoever, just pick it. And then listen, if you're new on my channel, please hit the red button, says subscribe. I want to be a part of your YouTube family as well. And I hope to bring this group back together, because I really enjoy being with my family. It is nothing but, listen, my dad told us the world don't care nothing about you. And listen, I'm so glad he told us that, because we focus on each other instead of the world. And so if you got family out there that you're not talking to, you need to get busy making some phone calls, because this is important. This is very important. And the older they get, you need to surround yourself around them. And you need to get all the wisdom that they have, so you can learn about things that God is trying to show you that you're not hearing from God, because they have wisdom. My aunt has a lot of wisdom. She does. She called, when my brother-in-law was going through COVID and the doctors were saying this and that, Tammy run. Her husband started saying, call your aunt. Call your aunt. Call your aunt. And he started doing so much better because of what my aunt was saying. So if you're out there and you got somebody elderly in your life that's giving you advice, take it. You better take it and keep it and put all that stuff into you, because when God take her away, we need to keep moving. So we got to sit here and listen to Unheard, so she can keep talking to us. And we may not understand it, y'all, but one day, like her and Tammy, now they're talking. One day,
told my husband to take that oxygen. She said, tell him to take that oxygen.
Yes, tell that story. Tell that to them. Look in there.
Anyway, when my husband came home from the hospital, he had oxygen. And my aunt, I told her he had oxygen. She said, tell him to take it off. We looked, take it off? Why? You know, we thought he couldn't breathe. I mean, so he took it off. And when he took it off, she said, if he don't take it off, he's going to continue to need it. And so if you had told us, he would probably
So what she just saying, because she gave y'all part of the story, her husband both of them got COVID, and they got COVID, and her husband, he got seriously ill. They put him on a ventilator. They called us and said he would not make it. He was dying. And so we started praying, and we prayed, and they said his body was shutting down. And we prayed, and we told God, take him off the ventilator tonight. We prayed that night. The next morning, we were waiting on God to move. And the lady called Tammy that morning and said, hey, your husband may get off the ventilator around 5 o'clock today. Then she called Tammy at 12 noon and said, your husband's off the ventilator. He's breathing on his own. So he came home. What I'm trying to say, because Tammy didn't tell y'all the story, he came home with oxygen. And my aunt with wisdom, because she know that when they put people on ventilator, it's hard for them to fight to live, and they were dying with the ventilator.
She's also a registered nurse.
She's a registered nurse. And so when they came home, she told them to take that stuff off of him. And Ron took it off and was walking around with no oxygen the same day.
So the moral of the story
Thank you.
is, this is not the closing remark. No matter how far-fetched or off it seems, if unheard tells you something,
You better hook him up.
If she tells you that a napkin full of
freight trains, you better hook him up.
because sometimes she'll tell you something, and you're like, but you just do it, and it turns out right. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and later you'll say, because we always say, she'll tell her, like she'll say, see something in somebody and she'll tell us.
Yep.
And I think it's so far-fetched, like why would her say that? Then maybe 3 months later, I'm like, her saw that. She really saw that. So you guys, y'all listen to our elderly. God left, he's leaving them here for a reason, because this is not our home. So we all gotta pass through this. But y'all wait, if God got them here, listen to him why God have them here. But I did say before we close, I'm gonna let whoever want to just give a really good
Wait, I wanted to say something else.
Okay.
Because you guys talk a lot about your father, and so since my mother is here, I wanted your mother was her older sister. Like it was Bert, Frederick, and you.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about their mother for a minute.
before she talked about our mother. For those
This may need to be enough.
before my aunt started talking, because Sharon made a statement, we have to make sure. She said we talk about our dad a lot. My mom died at the age of 47.
Mm-hmm.
We were very young when Mama died, and so my mom was a strong force in our family, but we were actually young. So that she put in us, she taught us to be really good, strong women. But as you start getting into husbands and learning how to be an adult, then there was my dad that was actually, my mom did it when we were young. So of course we got all that. But what you hear now is when dad say, do this or end. So that y'all hear a lot of that just because mom died at such a young age. But go ahead and do what she just said.
Do what you want me to do, Sharon?
Talk about Bert.
And my mom was more like Sandy.
Yes.
Yes.
Spirited.
You're right. Vicky,
So,
good.
yeah.
She was a very likable person. I bet there's not a person in the world who would say anything ugly about her.
Right.
I was just the opposite. She was the neatest person. You go into her house and in the linen closet, every washcloth was folded just neat.
Yeah.
Every towel, everything was, and how they had those 6 children and how everything could be so neat and so in order, because I was just the biggest slob, still am. And I just didn't, my sister was just, she was just an amazing person. And I knew that I could never be like her. And I didn't try to be like her because I know that we are all individuals. And there were 7 of us and we were all different. My other sisters were totally not more like my oldest sister, but not at all like me. And so I was the main rare bird in the family, but I like my rareness.
Was your mom very neat?
Yeah,
Yes.
she
So my
was.
mom got,
My mother was neat, and my mother was a dresser. She
Yeah,
could really
grandma, yeah.
dress, and she could sew, and I could do any of that.
We haven't talked about Miss Lucille, have we?
That's
That's
another.
our
so-
grandmother. We'll get to that one day.
I'm talking about now. I was supposed to be
We'll talk
talking
about your
about.
mother.
I'm supposed to be talking about my sister.
I know. I just want you to talk about her because, and then what I remember is Bert would make you guys all those clothes that
Yes.
looked alike,
Yes.
and Marvin too. Marvin
Yes.
wear a little outfit too,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Like little green, like
Yes.
little jumpsuits and stuff, and she would sew them all for all 6 of the children.
And she
Yes.
could make those appliques on their dresses and make all
She would
those
make my
dresses.
brother leisure suits back in the day when they called leisure suits, right?
And she could make all those dresses
Prom
alike.
dresses,
And,
made out-
and
Dad's
somebody
team's uniform for her.
who had your prom,
Oh, prom dresses, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Never seen
and
one.
also wedding dresses. Didn't she make some wedding dresses and some
No, she
bridesmaid
I
dresses?
think she did.
For a high
somebody.
school.
For somebody.
But she made the one, your dress.
No, she wasn't married yet.
I don't think that was.
She had.
She made.
No, no.
Okay, while they discussing what my mother did, we're gonna close this out.
Patricia made, oh, my mom made the bridesmaids.
Yes.
She made it, yeah.
This we're gonna, like Sharon said, we'll do a part 2 on this because we do want to share a lot about mothers in particular, because we need strong mothers, and the young women now are having babies at the age of 12 and 10 and very young. So we need to hear from more mature mothers on what it takes to be a mother in the 21st century. So we're gonna close out, and we're gonna let anybody want to close it out real quick?
Go ahead,
Say
Brittany.
something really. But anyway,
You always have something to say.
now I'm trying to be camera
Okay,
shy.
sure, I will. So I hope that you heard something that can help you, inspire you, make you a stronger woman or man, and that some of your answers, some of your questions will answer. This video was intended to really uplift, to motivate,
Yes.
and to help us strive. And so I
Yes.
thank everybody here for such positive,
Yes.
motivating words of encouragement. So
Yes.
don't forget to subscribe and to share this video. God bless you all. Have a great
And
day.
we are
Regina,
sister,
do it.
cousins.
And while Regina get ready to close us out, as she get ready to close us out, she gotta hit the button. She done forgot. So, bye y'all. Thank y'all for listening. Bye.
Okay.
Bye. They always want to talk.